What the heck? Who needs sleep? I was getting myself organised. I just finished organising everything for my live stream for tomorrow morning for Maddie Soto. I was getting clips for another video, and I just happened to come across a 3-minute video on YouTube, which was Malaya. I'm like, holy crap. And I thought, well, I'll go see if there's an article about it as well, and discovered that actually on the CBC site there's like a full news story that Malaya's basically just done an interview. So I figured I'm not going to sleep. I might as well just jump in and have a look at it. So seems that Malaya has decided to speak up. She's decided to speak with Angela at CBC. I kind of wasn't really paying attention while I was recording it. So this is going to be a fairly raw reaction. I haven't really watched it at all. I'm curious. I'm very curious. I'm just going to say I'm going to have to come back to it after I do this live stream. So tomorrow I'm going to have to start really breaking it down and really getting into the nitty-gritty of it. So I probably won't be catching a lot of the non-verbal cues, or there's probably things that I'll miss in this. But I am going to come back to it tomorrow and really dig in after my Maddie Soto live stream, of course, because I'm still going to stick with my Maddie Mondays. I mean, that's, if I'm looking at this tonight, then I can take my time tomorrow and really break it down. Now, because it is nearly 10:30 here, you're going to hear Amira snoring in the background. I've just turned the heating up so that they don't suddenly decide they're cold and want to go to bed. But yeah, you're going to get the snoring in the background. It's unavoidable, so apologies if that bothers anyone. Hopefully it doesn't, but that's the way it is here. Okay, I'm just going to bring it straight up. Most people are probably still in bed on the other side of the world. I haven't actually checked to see what time it is over in like Canada or the US or anything. I just went, yeah, what the heck, I might as well just look at this as a live stream rather than sit there and watch it myself, and this way I can just say what I want to say. Hopefully I can be diplomatic. Let's go. Oh, I had a bit of trouble with it loading at first, so it does start, but it takes a moment. I thought I'd queued it up better than that, sorry. Or is this StreamYard?
People who are close and know me know that I would never do anything to my children and that I love them very much.
Thank you for doing this. Malehya, it's been more than 15 months since you've seen Jack and Lily. How are you doing?
Not good.
How do you spend your days?
Just one day at a time.
Yep, straight up. Let's avoid giving answers. How do you spend your days? Oh, I spend my days just riding around on four-wheelers and hanging out with my friends and just, doing all the usual stuff that you do when you're free of any encumbrance. You don't have to be a mother anymore.
My family and friends and support systems, going to therapy regularly. I do a lot of art and I see my daughter.
There's a lot of eye blocking going on. I'm just going to comment on that. Like I said, that sort of stuff, I'll come back to it tomorrow in a more focused video. I just want to do sort of like an initial reaction in this one.
We always plan everything that we can to keep my mind busy.
And I know we've heard others talk about Jack and Lily and they've described them, but you spent the most time with them. What can you tell me about Jack and Lily?
Lily is a very bubbly little girl who always smiles and loves to pose for photos. She loves unicorns and LOL dolls.
Sorry, I've got a comment on that. The eye blocking when she says she always smiles. She's trying to still push that she believes the children are alive, but straight up, you get that eye blocking talking about Lily.
Little girl who always smiles and loves to pose for photos. She loves unicorns and LOL dolls and to dress up girly. She loves dresses. Just like me when I was younger, I was always wearing dresses. She always loved to pick out her outfits.
Past tense, she always loved to pick out her outfits. Malehya, we know that you know your children are deceased. I'm just going to say that outright, because what I was listening to in this interview was definitely her still pushing that she believes someone took them and that she hopes they're safe somewhere.
And I would bring her some and she would pick them out. Jack loves bugs. He loves playing outside, digging for things. Anytime he got a new dinosaur, he was always excited and loves those dino smashers. Those were his favorite.
Sorry, just seeing the one eyebrow going up. There's something about them that's she's not overly impressed about. But so far, I don't know. So far, it's very flat. And in terms of Lily and Jack, it's nothing groundbreaking. Is that all they ever did? There must be more. Welcome in, clapping seal. Welcome in, Bonza. Yeah, definitely lots of legs.
They were both always so happy.
Hang on, I missed that bit.
And loves those dino smashers. Those were his favorite. They were both always so.
Those were his favourite. I couldn't catch if she said they were both or they are both, but we'll keep going.
Happy.
And how were they with each other?
They loved each other. They hugged each other. They would say sorry to each other. Sometimes they would get in fights with each other, but they would always make up.
What do you miss the most about them?
Everything. They're loud.
Yeah, most of it is in the past tense there. She's trying to say that she believes they're still alive, but we're still full on past tense. There's a lot of eye blocking. I can see a lot of contempt in her expression. Yeah, I watched the 3-minute video and then I went on to CBC, and this is like 27 minutes. So quite a lot more. There's quite a lot of eye blocking here, a lot of past tense, and a lot of, you'll see these asymmetrical stuff going on, showing contempt. It's okay, you're allowed to go to bed, Bonza. Just because I'm a night owl doesn't mean you have to be up.
Their smile, their hugs, their smell. I think it's just when you're a mom, your children have a particular scent that you never forget. And it's just something that you know, especially when they're born and you're holding them in your arms. And it always stays with you.
So she's going back to talking about when they were born. Now, that's sort of someone who's, looking back on, she doesn't think they're coming back, basically. You won't sleep for another few hours. Yeah, I'm wide awake. I was going to do a brief reaction to another thing, but I was like, what the heck, I might as well be in. I'm not really convinced so far, I have to say. I want to be open-minded. I want to be convinced. But so far, what I'm seeing is someone who knows her children are deceased and someone who's reminiscing about when they were babies, because it's easier than thinking about the more recent times before they pass, because when you think about the more recent times, that takes you straight back to when they died, in my opinion. I know. Still thinks they're alive. And the reason why she's not done anything is because RCMP told her not to do anything. Yeah, right. Okay.
And how were they with you? I've heard they were both very close with you in particular.
They were both mama's kids. They love their mom.
They were both mama's kids. They loved their mum. A lot of distancing language there. Yes, I could imagine someone saying, yeah, they're mama's kids. They really love me. But the distancing language and the look on her face doesn't look like there seems to be a little bit of resentment or a bit of disdain. I'm not going to take too much time just, going back through that. But it's certainly something I'm going to be taking a closer look at later.
Been holding on to their things. You brought some with you today.
Yeah.
And you've still been buying things for them?
Yeah, I bought them Easter baskets and Valentine's Day stuff, their Christmas stuff, birthday stuff.
No, especially on that frame, it doesn't look like sadness. She's moved on. We know that from everything we've heard. What that image we just saw before, I won't put that one up on Zumbi yet. That image we just saw before was almost like she brought their toys to make a shrine for them while she was doing her interview.
And cards for them to open when they get home. I have everything. And I continue to get more because it's what helps me cope.
That's what helps her cope, but we've got the eye blocking. I know, when they get home. I notice, though, a lot of those things are things that we've seen in photos. They're not things that she's bought them recently. Oh, yeah. And for all we know, she's just bringing things that have been bought for Baby M, and going, look what I bought. But, she's talking about, I bought these things, and she's got that Canada doll that we've seen a photo of Lily holding it. She's got Lily's LOL backpack. Those two soft toys that she was holding, one of them was really grotty. Hi, Sky Painter. Good to see you in here. Sorry, I'm just trying to read this. The Land Back movement in Canada is an Indigenous-led grassroots campaign to reclaim jurisdiction, authority, and stewardship over traditional ancestral territories. I know, Bonnie. What have you been doing lately? Well, I just broke up with another boyfriend. Been out four-wheeling a bit, driving around on the on the four-wheeler because that's just fun. You know, hanging at the beach because, you know, you just got to do that. Getting drunk with my half-brother at my mother's house just for the fun of it. But no, 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 she's not gonna tell us all that. She's, just gonna be like, "I'm taking it one day at a time." Yeah, there's no hard questions.
You're holding on to it so that you can have it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for when they come home.
Yeah, right, Malaya, for when they come home, I do wanna have a closer look at her face when she's saying that. She's not getting eye contact at all there.
Have it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for when they come home.
A little bit of the lip lock going. I think, oh no, we can't put much into anything that's come from Cheryl, essentially, or Malaya's side, or Daniel's side, or anyone connected to this case, really. I mean, you know, you've got to keep the cynicism going, and I know that sounds horrible, but at the end of the day, we've got 2 children who were missing, 3 adults that were on that property who were all apparently completely innocent and know nothing about what happened to these children.
So if we can we go back to May of last year, May 2nd? What's the last memory you have of seeing or hearing Jack and Lily?
Hearing their laughter of them playing together in the bedroom and seeing Lily's face pop in the bedroom.
I thought she said she didn't see Lily. The story's changed. She said that she heard them, but she didn't see them. It was Daniel who claimed that he saw Lily. Or am I wrong with that? I'm pretty certain she said she heard them playing in the next room. But all of a sudden she saw Lily. Yeah. I'm not really convinced right now. 100% we've got an agenda happening here. Yeah, she told RCMP that she heard them in the next room, but she didn't see them that morning. Oh, hell yeah. I can guarantee 100% that he will be back online. He said if she speaks out, he will weaponize her words. It'll be a matter of days. You can guarantee it.
Dies on Lily that morning.
Yeah.
And you heard Jack?
Yeah.
So when did you see Lily? Do you recall?
Can't recall the exact time.
Sometime.
What's the lip locking going on here? Charmaine, probably. She seems to be his favourite, although it could be either. He'll probably just randomly pop up on someone's live stream. She does. She's speaking very differently now. The cynic in me says that this is very much an act of this is how I probably should sound. So I'm going to put on the quiet, affected voice. I could be wrong because we have heard from Janie that she's quiet anyway. But okay, let me run it back just a little bit.
So when did you see Lily? Do you recall?
Can't recall the exact time.
Yeah, you get the lip lock straight after she says, I can't recall the exact time. So we've got a few obvious tells here with Malehya. We've got some lip locks. We've got some eye blocking. Definitely looking away. But, yeah, I don't think she's being entirely honest here. Well, I mean, for starters, why is she suddenly deciding that she saw Lily when she told RCMP that she didn't? I noticed that too. Exactly. You could double that distance. The last time Angela interviewed Daniel was that stood out to me too. Huge difference.
After they woke up that morning.
Yeah.
And then what?
Sorry, I know I said I was going to look at the body language later, but just that quick sideways glance after that question. Yeah, it could well be triple the distance. They were like half a room apart with that final interview with Daniel. You can tell that Angela feels quite much safer with Malehya than she does with Daniel. Can you blame her?
What was the next thing that you remember of that morning?
Just waking up, seeing Daniel next to me, and I didn't hear them.
Missed a few bits out of the narrative there, Malehya. What about you actually apparently getting baby M, turning on the television, all these sorts of things? It is only 2 to 3 weeks till Daniel hits court. So here's the thing. Yeah, it's been 15 months. But what she's telling us about now is the morning that her children allegedly went missing. It's not going to fade in your memory. So she should be basically remembering all the other things that she's said in the past. That she got baby M out of her cot because, well, or wherever she was, because Lily and Jack woke them up. That, you know, she had turned the telly on, things like that. This morning should be, if this really was when Lily and Jack went missing, this morning should be indelibly etched in her brain to the point where she's just going to repeat it. But not only that, right now she's talking about what is supposedly the most traumatic experience of her life. This is the point where she should be getting emotional.
And I woke Daniel up and said, I don't hear the kids. So we both went out, and then that's when we started looking for them. And
yeah, it's all the same constructed narrative that she gave in her interview, pretty much. There's no emotion to this. This should be emotional for her. This should be flooding back emotions, stress, all that sort of crap. Because this is the moment that she allegedly realised her children were missing. But the way she's told it has been very much like a narration. You've got a lot of ands in there as well. And certainly no sign of emotion, no sign of distress. Talking about that moment that essentially just changed her whole life.
that's how it all unfolded from there.
You called.
Tell us about the 8:30 phone call, Malehya. she's not giving any of the additional details. It's very hollow. And I'm just going to rewind it and replay that last comment because I missed it. I got distracted.
We both went out, and then that's when we started looking for them, and that's how it all unfolded.
And that's how it all unfolded. Your children went missing, and you're saying that's how it all unfolded. Anyway, moving on, I will.
You called 911, and then chaos ensued, basically.
Yeah.
Do you remember those hours?
The trauma is so severe to the point where, like, I block it out because it's hard to sit with it and sit with.
That's a really interesting statement. The trauma is so severe that I block it out, that it's hard to sit with it. Yes, I could imagine the trauma of having your children going missing, but it would be that would be like an extended thing. To me, just the wording here just doesn't sit right with me. She does cry later on in the interview, but right now when she's talking about what is essentially that moment when she apparently realized her children were missing, she can't cry. Now, I think part of the reason why it's bugging me with the trauma thing is that basically she's not saying about the discovery of her children being the trauma. It's everything that happened afterwards. She's like, you know, I just let me run it back a bit.
That's how it all unfolded from there.
You called 911, and then chaos ensued, basically.
Yeah.
Do you remember those hours?
The trauma is so severe to the point where, like, I block it out because it's hard to sit with it and sit with reality.
She's wearing very, very short shorts. Yeah, no notification. I just hit live because CBC only dropped this a few hours ago. Yeah, there's plenty of legs showing. So she's saying the trauma is so severe that those hours after she called 911, she can't sit with that, etc. What should be traumatic for her is that first part, the discovery of the children being missing. I could imagine the rest of it after that being a bit of a blur. But the first part, the discovery of her children being missing, the moment when she realised that they're nowhere there, that's where the trauma should be, not the having people turn up at the property doing interviews with RCMP. That shouldn't be traumatic unless you've got something to hide. Yeah, I mean, you do go numb, but she cries later on. But it's just interesting that this narrative about the morning they went missing is it's not even it doesn't come across as numb. It just comes across as a narrative. And now basically she's saying the traumatic bit is after she rang 911 when she's dealing with the RCMP.
And with no answers, I just don't know how it even happened, or he should have been found that day, and an Amber Alert should have went out, and it should have never happened.
It should have never happened. Again, that's like the many other references from other people, from Daniel and Janie, that make it sound like a single event, a single moment in time. When you say something should have never happened, it makes it sound like when we're talking about Parker and there was inadequate supervision and he got out of the house. You know, you say that when someone screwed up, something went wrong. Now, maybe she's referring to them just kind of vanishing from the house. But this is where we start to see a genuine emotional reaction. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that whole idea of, you know, trying to hold it in, trying not to let it show. But what I'm seeing here is the emotion not necessarily matching the narrative. Although whatever she's referring to here, whatever actually happened with Lily and Jack, this is what she's remembering in this moment. And you can tell that this is genuine emotion. So she's not numb. She's not blocking her emotion. It's just that it doesn't match the narrative. Hi, Princess Pillow. Good to see you in here. Just run it back just a little bit.
Basically.
Yeah.
Do you remember those hours?
The trauma is so severe to the point where, like, I block it out because it's hard to sit with it and sit with reality. And with no answers, I just don't know how it even happened, or he should have been found that day, and an Amber Alert should have went out, and
It's got eye blocking on found and Amber Alert. So I think she knows that they weren't going to be found that day. I think she knows that an Amber Alert wasn't going to happen. There's definitely emotion going on here. Yeah, I'll keep playing.
it should have never happened.
Okay. It is strange to see her speak. It's strange to see her actually come out. Watch what she's doing with her mouth after she says it should have never happened. I don't know why this isn't moving backwards.
Have been found that day, and an Amber Alert should have went out, and it should have never happened.
That she's just dobbed on Daniel with her facial expression right there. There's contempt there. Should have never happened. She's got that thing going on with her mouth, and then the tongue zooms off to the right-hand side. To me, that looks like contempt, whatever it is. Should have never happened. And there's resent in that. Yeah, this is where it happened. This should have never happened. It's all a singular event.
An Amber Alert should have went out, and it should have never happened.
And we got the lizard lips after the Amber Alert should have gone out. Although given how emotional it is, like this particular bit, given how emotional she is over this part of it, and not knowing her baseline, it could be, or it could just be because right now there's a bit of self-soothing going on. There's a lot of pain here. There's a lot of pain. There's definitely trauma. But again, she's making it sound like a single event.
In hindsight, what do you think went wrong? You mentioned the Amber Alert.
Well, I asked the police for an Amber Alert, and they kept telling me one's going to be issued, and I'd go back another few minutes and they would keep telling me the same thing, and I just kept asking and
watching this, I have no doubt that she knows what happened. Just looking at her body language, I do think she knows exactly what happened. While she's giving this whole narrative about the Amber Alert and kept asking and asking, she's shaking her head. She knew that the Amber Alert wasn't going to do anything. Welcome in, Rogue.
all they sent out was that alert. And I don't feel like that was enough.
The vulnerable person's alert, which went to 2 counties, basically. Do you think that they're in the woods?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think she doesn't know exactly where they are. But she's certainly being a little bit evasive here. She's looking away. You feel she's admitting she was the last person to see those kids that day, and that's a big red flag. Yeah, well, she's just suddenly said that she saw Lily after claiming that she didn't. She only heard them in the other room. Exactly. They are all referring to something that happened. It's over and done with. Based on all their narratives, it is something that happened. And whatever it is, it's traumatic enough for her to be upset over that particular thing. And welcome in everyone who's coming in. I've kind of lost track of who I've greeted and I haven't, so just, welcome in. Global welcome in.
Went to 2 counties, basically. Do you think that they're in the woods?
I don't know.
Yep. We've got the eye blocking, you got the lip locking, looking away. My personal belief is that she knows everything except their exact location. I may be wrong, but that's just based on what I know of Daniel's personality, what we know of Malehya, and things that have been said. I think that she doesn't know their exact location, but I think she's got some rough idea in terms of that someone took them somewhere. No, I think they're both gone, Bonza. I don't think one's been sent away anywhere. As much as it would be nice to think, I think they're both gone.
I just want the police to give me answers on where they're at and bring them home.
Did you hear the way her voice hardened there, when she said where they're at? I wonder if, some of this is like she really does want to know where they're at and bring them home and put them to rest. Could be wrong. Like I said, I need to go over this slowly tomorrow and really pay attention to what's being said.
How do you feel the RCMP investigation has been going?
It feels like I continue to get the same update over and over, and I keep
100% Mayflower. 100%, I agree with you completely. Her body language is telling us a completely different story to what she is verbally telling us. Getting a lot of eye blocking, a lot of looking away, a lot of lip locking. And just, it doesn't match with what she's telling us.
I continue to get the same update over and over, and I keep asking for new avenues, and they keep saying we're working on it, and
She's shaking her head while she's saying that. I keep asking for new avenues, and they keep saying we're working on it. Again, it's a bit like Daniel with the language giving her away. What exactly are new avenues? She's kind of, there's a lot of word salady kind of non-meaningful stuff that's happening here. But that's just gobbledygook. Sorry, it is.
don't feel like that's enough. I feel like I deserve more than that, and I deserve answers on where they're at, and I need them home.
Clearly, she does get upset about them being gone. It'd be hard having two separate cases to deal with. It certainly would. Certainly a lot on her plate right now. I mean, I think it would be fair to say that there is this sadness that she wishes that they could come home. She's definitely sad there. But there's also resentment here. She knows they're not coming home. Yeah. Never met their teacher. And I think the big issue here is what you're saying, that she's unhappy because the RCMP, not that they're not keeping track of her children, but that they're not keeping her up to date with the investigation. Seems like her and Daniel have the same thing in common, and that is that they want to know what the RCMP know. That look on her face there, that's there's resentment in there. I mean, you just have to look at, you got one eyebrow higher up than the other. Even just the way she's holding her mouth.
In terms of the evidence, we know that searchers found a cluster of boot prints, one child-sized boot print on the trail, believed to be the size of Lily's shoe. What do you make of that? And the fact that there was another footprint found in a recent search?
I don't know, because
Yeah. Where is the outrage? We see that from Belinda. Good point, Lizette, and welcome in. Yeah, I think what you're saying there is spot on. There's definitely anger. There's frustration with the RCMP because she wants to know what they know. I will have to take more time tomorrow to have a look at her facial expressions, but yeah, I would say there is definitely some shame, definitely acceptance. Yep, I think you're right there. There's definitely trauma there. There's sadness, and there is some serious resentment happening.
I don't think I can speak on that.
Hang on, I need to go back. I missed that.
Searchers found a cluster of boot prints, one child-sized boot print on the trail, believed to be the size of Lily's shoe. What do you make of that? And the fact that there was another footprint found in a recent search?
I don't know, because I don't think I can speak on that.
Yeah, just doesn't make.
She can't figure out what narrative to push there, so she's just going to leave that one. Yeah, hard pass. There's definitely motive for coming out right now. Why is it, out of all these things, she can't speak on these bogus boot prints? True. I forget that she's got a lawyer. But at the same time, the boot prints are irrelevant. And you would think that even she would understand that.
A lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
And the same with the pink blanket. Do you want to talk about the pink blanket?
I don't even know how it even got there.
Yeah, I don't think she actually knows precisely how it got there. But again, I'm seeing a bit of anger, a bit of resentment happening there. So there's definitely more to the story. I think I'm just not getting good vibes. I'm trying really hard. But there's something just not right about all this. Oh, heck yeah. Are we taking bets on how quickly he comes out? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up on Charmaine's, like, in her next live stream. Honestly. Now, this is the thing that she apparently was so important, had to talk about So it's going to be interesting to see what she has to say about the blanket now. Yeah, no, it's not a denial about it shouldn't have been there, or I've got no idea what's going on. It's more about I don't know how it got there. You're right. She knows something about it. She's just not sure how it ended up getting there. Not sure what went wrong, essentially. Yeah, today or tomorrow, that's for sure. Well, it would be tomorrow for us because it's 11:15 here. So tomorrow or the day after.
I don't think I can speak on that.
Yeah, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
And the same with the pink blanket. Do you want to talk about the pink blanket?
I don't even know how it even got there.
That was Lily's blanket that had been old and ripped apart?
Yeah.
And had been presumably in the garbage can, but made it onto a tree a kilometer away.
None of it makes sense.
Okay, so it was so important for her to get the message out this week that the piece of blanket was over a railing. And now Angela talks about it being ripped apart and put in the rubbish. And again, Malehya's just not really saying much about anything. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Like the last search, the one that she was on with the elite crew, they found the other boot print. She's just being very evasive here. Apparently it's okay to get a mouthpiece to say what you want to say, but when you've got to actually front up and say it yourself, it's a different story. But how is it that it was so important that was the first bit of information that comes out publicly after 15 months, that this bit of blanket was over the railing, and now she's not even responding to Angela saying that it was in the bin? Yeah, exactly. She's not doing any of that. If she thinks they're alive, why isn't she advocating and holding pictures and holding up the poster, asking people to come out and say something?
I just demand answers.
What's your relationship like with our CMP?
At first, it was, I had to explain a lot, and
She had to explain a lot. That's not how I would think you would be saying it. Explaining a lot is kind of like explaining it away. Maybe I'm wrong. No, she doesn't. She doesn't. I mean, when she was speaking about them at the start of this interview, was all in the past tense. Yeah. She's really not saying much in this interview at all. And Angela's going very soft on her, in my opinion. Good question. What is round the corner? Why now? Is it because of the court case coming up? Is it because there's something else about to drop that we're not aware of? Yeah. I mean, you look at Brandy Neal, before what's his face, the loser, before he was arrested, she was doing interviews with Monkey's photo sitting right next to her. And you know, the interviews that Brandy did were always about Monkey. But here it's like, let me make sure I show you all my tattoos. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with tattoos. It's just that, you know, like you said, where are the photos? She won't get breakfast in bed now because she's broken up with him, apparently. That's what we were told. The interviewer isn't afraid of her. MBM is just melting, kinda. Am I the only one that she doesn't elicit sympathy from? She's using Jen Soto ums. Yeah. My first reaction from just kind of watching this while I was recording it without really paying attention was anger. I don't feel sympathy for her. What I'm seeing here is there is some trauma. I believe that she's traumatized over something happening to her children. She knows her children are deceased. There's a bit of anger over that. But there's a lot of avoidance happening in this interview. And when you watch her body language, there's a lot of eye blocking. You're getting a lip locking, looking away, and a lot of language that is avoidance. Just go back a little bit.
Dancers.
What's your relationship like with RCMP?
At first, it was, I had to explain a lot, and, which I obviously didn't mind. I gave them everything that I knew and that I had, and that.
Shaking her head the whole time. I obviously didn't mind. And shaking her head. Why do you need to say obviously? If that's a given. If you have to actually convince us that you obviously didn't mind. Off to work. Enjoy work. I'll be off to bed after this. Welcome in, Nova Nana. She knows what happened to them. Definitely. Yeah. I think they probably chose Angela for the interview because she does do that kind of mothering voice. I mean, it took a long while for her to throw the hard curveballs at Daniel in terms of when she was interviewing him. So maybe she's just trying not to spook Malehya. But this is the frustrating thing with this interview, especially seeing the amount of evasion that is going on here. I'm just not on board. I'm sorry. I would like to try, but I'm just not on board right now.
But it seems like the relationship is kind of dwindling off because they're just not explaining enough. And I understand that they are busy and they have many other cases, but also I just feel like more should be happening.
I know it.
Yeah, just shake that head, Malehya. Keep shaking the head. Well, she's like Daniel. She's upset because the RCMP aren't playing nice anymore. And again, she's doing the, oh, I know that they've got other cases. Now, if you were genuinely concerned that your children were missing, you wouldn't give a rat's ass that they had other cases. You wouldn't be acting sympathetic. But you'd be like, I don't care if they've got other cases. We should have answers by now. She's not saying any of that. We did see the emotion. And the emotion, I think, is connected to the trauma of what happened to Lily and Jack. I think when she's talking about it, she's reliving it, and we get the emotion there. But what she's doing is she's trying to, in her mind, she's gone, okay, well, I'm supposed to be the sad mother who's upset because my children are missing. It's 15 months on. She should be angry. We're not seeing any anger in her. We see contempt and resentment when she talks about what happened to the children. But in terms of the RCMP, there's no anger. She's just, giving him a free pass. I know, they're busy. They've got other cases. So,
Points, you were questioned heavily by police and even given polygraph tests. Did you feel you were interrogated?
No. Not at all.
Did you ever feel RCMP were suspicious of you?
I would assume at first because...
Did you see that real quick look sideways when she said that? Did you ever think they were suspicious of you? And the shoot off with the eyes was really, really quick. Yeah. I would love to do a side-by-side between her and Jen Soto. She's not acting... I mean, every parent's going to react differently when their children are missing. Let's accept that. Welcome in, Angelina. But the emotions, the body language aren't matching up with what we're being told.
They didn't know the answers, but the RCMP know now.
You've been polygraphed how many times? Twice?
Twice.
Hang on, the RCMP know now. How does she know they know now?
Points, you were questioned heavily by police and even given polygraph tests. Did you feel you were interrogated?
No. Not at all.
Did you ever feel RCMP were suspicious of you?
I would assume at first because they didn't know the answers, but the RCMP know now.
You've been
I know. Angela, usually, if this was Daniel, she would have jumped on that straight away. What do you mean by that? But Malehya's... Sorry, to me this looks like manipulation. Because, see, the thing is... Yeah. The thing is, what I'm seeing here is someone who is showing this one singular demeanour right through. Aside from those moments when she actually does show a little bit of response to some sort of trauma, one single event that happened, that's when we see the emotion. But the rest of it is this affected voice that's trying to sound like she's just permanently traumatized. Yet we know that she's out living her best life right now. Yeah, definitely it's cat and mouse game. Yeah. And here's the irony though, she's saying they know, but then further on she's like, oh, I think they're still alive and they're and they're, you know, someone's got them. So she hasn't thought through her narrative. Oh yeah, I believe that the RCMP are definitely collaborating with RCMP. But I mean, CBC, I believe, do collaborate with RCMP. Oh, Hemi, wait till you see the legs. We're going to see some of those Hemi eyes in a minute. Yeah, look, I'm not convinced. I'm sorry, Malehya, but I'm just not convinced. No, she hasn't said their names once.
How many times? Twice?
Twice.
What was that experience like?
Hang on, let me just run it back. I missed what they were saying because I paused. Well, it's 11:30 at night here, so it's not really 6:30 a.m. here. Welcome in, Joyous. Good to see you. But yeah, I kind of thought, well, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to be too busy thinking about this, so I might as well just think out loud on a live stream, and then dig into it more tomorrow in my own time.
Of you?
I would assume at first because they didn't know the answers. But the RCMP know now.
You've been polygraphed how many times? Twice?
Twice.
Why didn't Angela ask her? My gosh. I'm sorry, but just letting that one go. And sorry, I don't think that Malehya really has any clue what the RCMP know or don't know. Yeah, this is Angela McIver. McIver. Oh, well, that's interesting that it's Angela and not Lindsay. Because, you know, this is Angela. So that I remember now when they were doing that search that there was the whole talk of, you know, Lindsay being buddy with them and everything. Good point.
Experience like?
It was nerve-wracking, mostly because of the question I was asked.
Nerve-wracking. She is laying it on thick. If you were doing a polygraph exam and you had nothing to do with your children going missing, you knew nothing about your children going missing, it wouldn't matter what questions they were asking you, because you would be confident that you've done nothing wrong. So why nerve-wracking?
The second one wasn't as bad because I had already been through one, but I understood why they had to be done, and I just got through it And because I knew the truth.
Now I get what you mean about the sweater clapping seal. I'm sorry. I'm like way behind the 8 ball, aren't I? I didn't realise that's what you were talking about in terms of the land rights and stuff like that. Just recently, Lindy and MBM's cars were at Cheryl's, in your opinion. Apparently she knew the truth. Yep, we do. We need someone to give her the hard questions, not this softball. Let's just completely bypass the ones that needed a follow-up. Yeah, I can certainly see a bit of Lily in her there. Or Lily, I can see Lily in her. I'll just run that back just a little bit again, sorry.
Mostly because of the question I was asked. The second one wasn't as bad because I had already been through one, but I understood why they had to be done, and I just got through it, and because I knew the truth.
I just got through it because I knew the truth. It wouldn't be that much of a big deal. Oh, she is too, Mayflower. Very, very defensive pose, actually. Closed, very, very closed, very defensive, very protective body language. Good point. Even down to the knees together. But she's got the legs spread, which is basically like a ready to launch and run. So it's closed position, but still with the feet in a position to basically escape. Oh, I'm glad you came in here, Hemi. We need a bit of your humour.
What's the question?
The first one was if I it's too heartbreaking to say.
What was your answer?
No.
I'm laughing at you guys, not at her, but you know, exactly. She's got plenty of Soto happening right now, down to the bounce. I'm sorry, Susan, but when I'm on a live stream at 11:30 at night, then the ums are going to come out. It's unavoidable. As much as I would like to try and do it less, it's something that, as much as I try, it just happens. Now I've forgotten what she was saying.
It's too heartbreaking to say.
It's the heartbreaking that I wanted to comment on. If it was heartbreaking, then I would expect to see more emotion happening here. But what we're seeing here is blocking. If it was that heartbreaking, I would expect to see some serious emotion, not the blocking, not the naming it up as heartbreaking. I would expect to hear something like, it's too hard to say.
What was your answer?
No.
Did police ask if you had anything to do with the disappearance?
No. But I kept asking that question myself to them, and they would just reply, "That's a good question."
Sorry? Did police ask you if you had anything to do with the disappearance? And she says, I kept asking that question myself to them because she doesn't know she had something to do with the disappearance. I couldn't figure out what the tattoo was. I mean, that's a really odd response.
Had anything to do with the disappearance?
No. But I kept asking that question myself to them, and they would just reply, "That's a good question," but also I didn't know why they wouldn't polygraph me for that as well. But
That's a really odd response. Hi, Ariel. Good to see you in here. I think she's being very evasive. There's a lot that she's not saying. She's not making. I can't figure out what she's actually. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a guilty response. It's like something has happened to her children, and she's needs reassurance that it's not her fault, or maybe maybe she did forget the script. I'm even more confident now that something bad happened to Lily and Jack. Yeah, at the very least, that's for sure. I can't wrap my head around this bizarre response.
no.
Did police ask if you had anything to do with the disappearance?
No. But I kept asking that question myself to them, and they would just reply, "That's a good question," but also I didn't know why they wouldn't polygraph me for that as well. But I already told them if any more polygraphs are going to be done, that I'm more than willing to go in and do them.
You want?
Yeah. I think well, that's me as well, though, because my brain's just trying to actually translate into some sort of logical answer what it is she's saying. It is serious leakage, in my opinion. But the only way I can take this is her basically trying to suss out if they thought she was responsible. Oh yeah. We do have to keep that in mind. We know that there was the coercive control. She did the whole. There's some serious cognitive dissonance going on here when she's talking about the not going outside, but they do go outside or whatever it was. I cannot wrap my head around it. It does sound like a guilty admission here. But it could also be the outcome of 2 years of coercive control. If she's witnessed something happen to her children, then maybe she is looking at it that way, and she could have been told, it's your fault. Either that or she's deliberately being evasive. But it's it's not a logical thing to be saying.
No.
Did police ask if you had anything to do with the disappearance?
No. But I kept asking that question myself to them, and they would just reply, that's a good question, but also I didn't know why they wouldn't polygraph me for that as well. But I already told them if any more polygraphs are going to be done, that I'm more than willing to go in and do them.
Yeah, she's more than willing to go in and do them, but she's shaking her head, meaning that she doesn't want to go in and do them. She knows she neglected them in a criminal way. I think there's got to be, let's say she had nothing to do with what happened to them, other than that she just didn't leave in time. I guess regardless of her role in this, she is going to feel that she has some responsibility for what happened to her children. Welcome in, Rita. Good to see you here.
You wanted them to ask you that question?
That was a really, really aggressive nod. Why does she want them to do more polygraph exams when she's shaking her head saying that she doesn't? I think the fact that she's only nodding and not speaking, to me, that's also a bit of evasion, because she doesn't want to actually verbalize it because it might not come out right.
Can I ask you that question? Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No.
What do you think happened to them?
Got a bit of a sway there after the no. And then when she's being asked, what do you think happened to them, we get the lip lock. We're not going to get a truthful answer from her right now. She's already told us with her body language that she's not going to tell us what the truth is.
The only thing I can assume is someone took them. but for what reason, I don't know.
She's gone back to the little girl voice that she was using in that first interview. She's psyched herself up. She's thought about the line beforehand, and then you've got the little girl voice kicking in. Right there. What are we looking at right there? Am I missing something? Clapping seal. You can see there's resentment though. When she says someone took them, there is resentment. I think what she's referring to is that someone did take them off that property after they were deceased.
But I already told them if any more polygraphs are going to be done, that I'm more than willing to go in and do them.
You wanted them to ask you that question? Can I ask you that question? Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No.
What do you think happened to them?
Her Soto size are silent Soto size. Just for a little bit of alliteration for you there.
The only thing I can assume is someone took them. But for what reason, I don't know.
Okay, that was actually more of an attempt to get some emotion happening, not like earlier. She's working on becoming emotional as opposed to before when you did see some genuine emotion. There's sadness, but she's having to work on it. It's not something that relates directly to what she's saying. What I saw was some anger when she's talking about someone taking them away. Oh yeah, she did say that you can lie on social media, but not to the RCMP. This interview dropped about 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. I was getting ready to go to bed and then was like, well, okay, I'm not going to sleep unless I actually talk this through. So, yes, her mascara's still fine, but you know, you can get stuff that doesn't run. Yeah, it depends on the brand of mascara though, doesn't it? Although,
it would have
you
been
know,
from your home. Definitely that morning.
But I just want them back home.
RCMP.
There's a lot of jiggling going on while she's saying that. There's certainly some sort of emotion happening there. And then we get to the I just want them back home, and then she's avoiding any sort of eye contact. I do believe she knows they're not coming home. Yeah, see, Grover, I kind of feel like there's manipulation happening too. I can see genuine emotion. But I also see a lot of signs of manipulation. Like I said, I would like to take my time. I will take my time and look at it properly tomorrow. But just a raw
I
thing.
just want them back home.
RCMP have publicly said they have no reasonable grounds to believe this was criminal. Do you think this was criminal?
I honestly don't know.
There's a lot of I don't know. Now, she's had 15 months to think about this. This is evasion. This is not her not knowing. This is evasion. And the amount of things that she doesn't know after 15 months, this would be on your mind 24/7. I think if we were to ask similar questions like these to Belinda, she's not going to be a I don't know person when it comes to things that require things that would have been going through her mind for the last 15 months. Yeah, exactly. I saw the contempt too. That's what I was saying. When she's talking about someone taking them, for what reason? I think that's more about why did this have to happen kind of thing. Well, true. It's still a different form of it's still deception. It's just a different form though. It's evasion. I mean, if she truly didn't know what happened to her children, she would have gone through all these scenarios in her head every single day for the last 15 months. The fact that she's being so evasive is a red flag to me.
I'm just waiting for the police to give me all the facts.
You think they're withholding from you?
I feel like they have to protect the case, and I understand that.
No. You're a mother. 2 of your children are missing. They've been missing for 15 months. And you've just been asked, do you feel they're withholding from you? This is where you get angry. This is where you don't make excuses for the RCMP. Oh, I get that. You know, they have to protect the case. I get that. No, this is not how a mother reacts. This is where you start getting pissed. Where you start saying, look, okay, it's been 15 months. I should be getting answers by now. And I'm really annoyed that they're not actually giving me any answers. But instead, it's like Don Wells and Daniel with the, oh, you know, I feel sorry for the searchers. They had to, you know, that they all got injuries and, you know, all this sort of thing. I don't think they would have told her, but I think if she was in the know, if they'd have told her stuff like that, for starters, it wouldn't be CBC who was interviewing her, because I do believe that CBC are in the know. I think Yeah, anyway, we'll keep going. Well, yeah, police don't protect the case unless it's criminal. But I would expect to see a mother getting angry at this point in time about the lack of information coming from the RCMP.
And even though it's hard and extremely frustrating, I just have to do what they say and pray every day that they bring them home.
As you know, there's been a...
Again, we see the resentment after she says bring them home. She knows those kids aren't coming home.
Pray every day that they bring them home.
As you know, there's been a lot of accusations flung your way from Daniel Martel, your former partner, and his family, that possibly you or your family were involved in some way. What do you say to that?
I honestly don't know what to say because we both know we were in the same bed that morning. So I don't understand why they would make up stories.
After that first weekend when Jack...
So she's now trying to basically say that Daniel's innocent as well. We've not heard their names yet at all in the interview. No pleading. But she's basically, in terms of what Daniel and Janie and Durwood and everyone else on their side has been saying, her response to that is, well, we were in the same bed that morning. So, you know, we're all innocent. It's really not hard-hitting at all, is it? She's missed some crucial comebacks. I mean, I can understand. This is, you know, the first interview with Malehya. This is a big scoop and they don't want to mess it up. Oh, yeah. She's been online. She's been talking about how Daniel's lied. Really throwing it back on Daniel and his family. But I don't think she's realised what she's said here. She's trying to either protect Daniel as well. She's again doing another Jen Soto, because Jen Soto was more interested in protecting Stephen Stearns than in speaking out for her daughter. Either that or she hasn't realised that she's actually defending Daniel in her efforts to defend herself. Yeah, I think that would be pretty daunting, that's for sure. She wouldn't come within a bull's roar of me, that's for sure. Yeah. Yep, it is a house of cards. They are definitely all looking out for themselves. I was only saying in this morning's live stream that they're certainly starting to get nervous. And the fact that Malehya is now suddenly coming out, there's a lot of Jen Soto in this. There's so much. I just keep thinking of Jen Soto and now the protecting Daniel, and it's, yeah, it's very interesting. Oops, sorry.
They went missing on May 3rd, the Saturday, the day following the day that they were reported missing. That was the last day you were there in Lansdowne. There's been widespread skepticism, Malehya, about why you chose to leave the scene that day.
Yeah, she could still have feelings for him. It could be some loyalty. It just feels so much like Jen Soto with the protecting Stearns. Before she's even spoken, before Angela has finished the question, you've got the lip lock going here.
What would you like to say about that decision?
The police had said that we should go, and told my family privately to take me out of there. And I was in too much state of shock that I just wanted to be with my family.
Who buys that? Police told her she should go. If you believed your children were lost in the woods and police told you you should go, if that was me, I'd be telling him to go get effed. State of shock certainly is a concerning description. State of shock is something has happened. Something bad has happened. And what's interesting is that Belinda made that same observance. She said when she saw Malehya on the Saturday, it was like she was in shock. You wouldn't be in shock if you thought your children were missing. You would be panicking. It is spot on. It was a reaction to a traumatic event. All of them they can't help it. They leak so much. Every single one of them has told us that something traumatic happened to Lily and Jack. They've given themselves away. Yeah, and this is what I was saying early on about the emotions not matching the narrative. Yeah, same as Janie's horror face. Right now, she's talking about what was essentially a traumatic event. But there's no emotion in any of this. It's not gelling for me at all. Yeah, I don't think she knows where they are. But I think that she knows what happened. And welcome into those people who are coming in now. There is some real emotion in here. But what I'm seeing is the emotion seems to tie in with when she's referring to some sort of traumatic single event that occurred.
And my daughter. So we got out of there, and the police...
Hang on, I'll just play that in full.
The police had said that we should go, and told my family privately to take me out of there. And I was in too much state of shock that I just wanted to be with my family and my daughter. So we got out of there, and the police met us back at Mom's.
And they were updating you there.
Yeah, and I had to do a very lengthy interview with them.
She's a bit resentful of that too. Hi, Callie. Good to see you in here. That's the thing. She's not describing the right emotions. She's in shock, like she's just gone through some traumatic experience. And she's spoken about trauma and stuff like that. A lot of the voice sounds like a put on to me. Like I said, at the start of this live stream, so some people may not have been in here when I said that, but I'm kind of doing this more as a reaction kind of playthrough. And then tomorrow, after I do my Maddie Soto live stream, I'm going to sit down with this and actually just do a proper video where I take my time to really listen to what's being said and to actually stop and pay attention to all the body language. Yeah, grieving mother. I think she's beyond that.
Why didn't you go back?
I don't think I can touch on that right now.
We got the lip lock when she's asked, why didn't you go back? And then she's quite calm about, I don't think I can touch on that right now. So not wanting to go back, I don't think that's connected to whatever happened to Lily and Jack. Because I think you would see some serious emotion happening there. I think we've just got a bit of evasion happening. And I suspect it's more about that she doesn't want to go near Daniel. Those types of tats are $1,000. Whoa, are they really? Like with all that colour, I guess they would have. There's a lot of visits in that. She nodded yes. So this is why I want to go through it again tomorrow, just as a video, because I miss a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, and I had to do a very lengthy interview with them.
Why didn't you go back?
I don't think I can touch on that right now.
Is there anything?
Yeah. But they're chalk and cheese, her and Daniel. You've got him won't shut up. Her won't say anything. So she's doing the opposite of him. She's just basically doing the evasion. There's a lot of not answering, not giving answers here. Whereas Daniel, he just makes it up as he goes along.
You can say about what life was like before May 2nd in the home with Jack and Lily and Daniel?
I don't think I can talk about it right now. I'm sorry.
And then we get a different voice there. I think that one, there's a reason she can't talk about that. We've got to remember there's, at the very least, there's the CPS stuff happening. But are you right, Derpy? Sorry, that was Amira doing some weird ass thing. At the very least, there's the CPS stuff. There's legal stuff going on in the background, so she's not going to talk about what life was like at Gairlock Road beforehand. We seem to be on the same page, Mayflower. He's a better liar. She's better at manipulating. She lets people like Cheryl do the talking for her. So, in terms of this, rather than be seen to be lying, she's basically just not giving the answers. I'm not seeing a lot of the emotion here, so I think it's more a legal thing. I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem to be such a traumatic thing for her at this moment. Sorry, I'm just reading comments.
So all of these months later, I know there's been also a lot of questions about why you stayed so quiet, and that usually a mother of missing children would be speaking out, and even on a megaphone. Why hasn't that been the case for you?
Because the police had told me not to, that it would jeopardize the case, and I just did whatever they told me to do because
Speaking out would jeopardize the case. She's still pushing the narrative that she thinks someone has got the children. But she's claiming that she was told not to speak because it would jeopardize the case. She's trying to sell a particular narrative. I understand that. But it's falling flat. I think she is on medication. I do think that there's definitely medication happening here. Yeah, exactly. And if you thought someone had taken your kids and the law enforcement said, don't speak to anyone, you'd be yelling it from the rooftops. Yeah, and RCMP have actually made a statement along the lines of that they advise caution in terms of speaking to the media. Not that you can't do it. There is actually a document that you can access in the RCMP website that is basically advice for families in this sort of position. Yeah, that's right. It was Belinda, they said that they've never said that any sort of thing. She's selling all the narratives, basically. This interview seems to be all excuses or all evasion so far. A lot of, I'm not going to answer this, I can't answer this, or RCMP told me not to answer this. What parent, if they truly believe their children are abducted, is going to just be like, yeah, I can, yes, or RCMP told me not to do anything, so I'm just going to not do anything. Well, thank you. Very much appreciated, Joyce. Very much. Yeah, unless they're just quietly building a case. But Daniel has, as you've seen from the last couple of live streams, he's broken his undertaking several times already, and there's been no consequences.
I didn't want to jeopardize the case in any way. And I also wasn't ready because I'm continuing to go through extreme trauma, and
That just doesn't sound right to me. I wasn't ready because I'm continuing to go through extreme trauma. Said very flatly. It. Sorry, I would like to be nice about her right now. But the words that are in my head are ones that I should not say. I'll just go with Callie. That works for me. Lily and Jack did go through extreme trauma. They do love the word trauma. But the thing is, it could be PTSD. But it just doesn't quite sit with me the way she's saying it. Just bear in mind that it's nearly 12:30 in the morning here, so I'm not exactly on my A game, but it just doesn't feel right to me.
even this is extremely hard for me.
And there has been intense scrutiny on you and your family. And
I'm giving her some benefit of the doubt because I believe she's dumb as a post. But insisting it's trauma and shock shows a lack of ability to effectively portray the right emotions for us to believe. That's the thing. Now, I could imagine if she's talking about trauma that maybe we could see a bit of flatness happening. Had we not already seen earlier in the interview when she actually showed a trauma response, talking about some sort of single event that happened on the property. Now she just seems to be talking the talk. She's saying what she thinks she should say to convey that she's traumatized. Now, she probably is traumatized. Yeah, look, I want to be careful, but at the same time, it just doesn't quite sit well with me, just the way she's talking about it.
a few months.
I don't feel I owe people anything. If anything, I'm owed answers, and to have my children back to me.
Hang on.
I'm continuing to go through extreme trauma, and even this is extremely hard for me.
And there has been intense scrutiny on you and your family in the last few months?
I don't feel I owe people anything. If anything, I'm owed answers, and to have my children back to me.
There's a bit of defensiveness happening here. Let me just run that back a little bit.
It's been intense scrutiny on you and your family in the last few months.
I don't feel I owe people anything. If anything, I'm owed answers, and to have my children back to me.
She feels she's owed answers. From who? She's making it sound like she's owed answers from the public, whereas earlier when she was talking about the RCMP, she was fine with not having answers from them because they probably were working on other cases. That's a little bit confusing for me. I wonder if she's on medications that might be affecting how she's reacting. Yeah, look, it would take courage to come out now, but why not come out 15 months ago? Yeah. I would love to hear Scott Rouse's take on this. That's for sure. The organism doesn't made the organism successful. The organism does what made the organism successful. Yeah. And we've seen that. This is how she gets by in the world in terms of this effect that she puts on. I do believe is how she gets people to do what Cheryl and that do for her, to get people to do all the work while she sits back in the background. I'm still struggling with the fact that it's taken 15 months to come out. She's not showing anger, and this just feels off to me. I'm trying so hard, but it's just kind of feels off.
And I believe the police know what they're doing, and that they're doing everything to find Lily and Jack and bring them back home to me.
You still trust?
Got the lip locks happening again. So on one hand, she's like, well, I know they're busy working other cases, and she's like, I believe they know what we're doing, what they're doing. Why is she not angry? Why is she not getting frustrated that it's been 15 months and there's no answers? Mayflower, you'd nail it. I think if you interviewed her, you'd get some answers. That's for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of questions here. I've got more questions than I've received answers, honestly.
Process.
That's all I have.
So why now? Why speak out now?
I just feel I need to continue keeping their faces out there, that they're out there somewhere, and if they see me on TV, they'll recognize me and maybe
She's really struggling to say this because she knows they're not out there. Welcome in, Pauline. You would give her the answers she doesn't want. Yep. This is one of those instances where she's trying to put this narrative out there, and the brain's really struggling. She's struggling to get the words out because she knows that what she's saying isn't truthful, isn't real. Yeah, Hemi. I think what we're seeing here is, yeah, it's a question she wasn't prepared for. And it's something she's struggling with because I do believe she knows that her children are deceased. But she's still trying to put out this idea that she thinks someone's got them. So this is hard for her because she knows it's not real, and it's making her think about the fact that her children are deceased, in my opinion.
So why now? Why speak out now?
I just feel I need to continue keeping their faces out there, that they're out there somewhere, and if they see me on TV, they'll recognize me and maybe somehow they'll be brought back home.
That contempt when she says they'll be brought back home. Like, and you can, even there, looking at her face, what she's referring to is she knows they're not coming home alive. And she's feeling contempt towards someone over that fact. And I think we can be pretty certain that's aimed at Daniel. She's struggled to get that sentence out. There was real emotion there because I think she knows they're not coming home. So those words were hard to spit out, hard to actually verbalize. But there's definitely some resentment here, some anger.
When you think of them today, where do you envision they are? Or do you?
That they're being well looked after and they're together. That's all a mother could hope.
What?
Wow, that's actually really sad. She's really struggling with that. That's that kind of internal fantasy of that's what she would like to be the case. She wishes that was the situation. You can tell that whole struggle of she knows that's not gonna happen. Yeah, I don't think she knows where the children are. I believe she knows what happened to them, but I don't think she knows where they are.
You up at night?
Just not being able to tuck them in at night and give them a hug and kiss and read them a story. And sleep beside them.
Yeah, this is where she's showing some genuine distress. You could see the self-soothing with her hands. She's rubbing her thumbs. And she's talking about things that we know she didn't do with them. She's creating in her head a fantasy of what the perfect mother does. This to me says there's a bit of guilt happening here. We've never heard any talk of her reading to them. And given what we've heard from Belinda about their issues with language development, I'm pretty confident that she wasn't reading to them at night. And the laying in bed with them, we know that never happened. Maybe when they were babies. Maybe, when they were baby M's size. And she would take them into bed with her of a morning just to settle them. But the reading stories and lying in bed with them, that's her thinking about what she should have done as a parent. I agree, Grover. That's exactly what we're hearing here. It's the shame of she wants to fix the things that she didn't do right the first time round. She wants a redo when she can read to them when they go to bed, when she can lie with them in bed when they go to sleep. I think there's shame, there's regret. There's that bit of wish happening. Yeah, there's no hint here that she's accepting any responsibility for any of this. And at the end of the day, there were 3 people on that property when those children went missing, and she was one of them.
I miss them a lot.
Okay, you're definitely seeing some trauma reaction there, though. She knows they're deceased. That whole physical shaking, that's different from the Jen Soto thing. That is a trauma response of there's something she cannot control, the kind of the tremoring thing. Right now, she's thinking about them being deceased. So I believe her when she says that she misses them. But I think there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of regret. And I think, yeah, there's probably some guilt as well.
Look at their pictures on my fridge and all over my walls, and I break down in tears because I miss them so much, and they need to come home.
They need to come home. If she knows they're not coming home, it's a weird way of wording it. It's not I need them to come home, I want them to come home. It's they need to come home. No, she still hasn't used their names once.
On Canada Day, you recently walked in a parade and there was a float for Jack and Lily, and you had some of their items that you made for them, keychains with their pictures on them, handing them out to the crowd. What was that like for you?
It was very emotional, and I just kept walking forward and kept my head straight, because I was doing it for them, to bring awareness to them, to keep their faces out there and bring them back home.
Who's them, Malehya? Have you forgotten their names, or is it just that you can't say their names? Oh yeah, I think, I think there is that reality now of she wants a place, she wants to bury them. But not once. She hasn't said their names once. She looks more scared for herself than like she's in grief over them, which is the part that bamboozled me. I think there's grief. I think her emotions are all over the place, but there's so much avoidance here.
It was a very large crowd, and that's not something I would normally do, but I did it for them.
That was a big step after remaining, quiet and not in the public for a long time. What was the reception like from the crowd?
I'm at the point now where I can't worry about what people think of me, because people who are close and know me know that I would never do anything to my children, and that I love them very much.
Now, I was thinking that she was going to say, I'm at the point where it doesn't matter what people think of me because I need to speak out about Lily and Jack. But instead, it's come out with, because the people who know me know that I didn't do anything, essentially. So she's coming out not because she needs to speak out for Lily and Jack now, but because she's decided she doesn't care what people think about her, because the people around her are the only ones that matter. Now, maybe she's just processing, like the whole processing delay, and she doesn't know what to say here. Yeah, I think a lot of people would struggle to do that. I think what I'm seeing here is a lot of cognitive dissonance. She's just like, she's trying to play a role here. she's trying to play the role of she's concerned that they're missing. She thinks someone's got them, and she thinks someone's going to bring them back. But she knows that they're not missing. She knows they're deceased. So she's struggling because she doesn't want to give that away in the interview, because the role that she's playing here is the role of the mother whose children has been abducted and she doesn't know where they are. And I think that's why we're seeing emotions in the wrong places, because they're not matching her narrative.
And I understand you've also been taking part in other searches for other missing people, one just recently as well, here in Nova Scotia. Why do you do that?
Because I feel very helpless right now without having answers or knowing what's the next step to do. And so helping others is basically all I feel I can do.
And I know that you've said you do your best to drown out.
It's kind of interesting. I think that's possibly a bit of a guilt response also. She can't help her children, so she's going to do that, and kind of like paying for what happened in her mind. Yeah, her story is all over the place, that's for sure.
Noise and not pay attention to it. But we know there's been a lot of public skepticism and criticism. What's that been like for you to deal with on top of everything else?
I don't like the negative attention and the made-up stories that are taking from the case, because no one has answers. So it seems like they're making up answers for clicks and views, which is so disheartening, because these are my babies and these people are taking away from the case.
A very clinical way of talking about it. I just want to point out that one of the reasons why you've got these morons coming out with ridiculous stories is because Malehya and her side have stayed silent for 15 months. If she was speaking out for her children, then people would have something to talk about that was positive about the case. But she's been hiding for 15 months. Hi, Deborah, good to see you. Oops. Yeah, it is verbatim, isn't it? That's what I'm struggling with. There's so much avoidance. Sorry, it's nearly 1 o'clock now. So much avoidance. I'm still waiting to hear her say their names. No, well, Summer Breeze, this is more kind of like me just going live after CBC dropped this interview. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning here. Gus's mum and dad have never come out and they're not copying this toxicity. True. Although it's different because it's an Australian case.
And causing distractions. And I don't know whether it's purposely or unintentionally, but it's not okay. These are my babies and they need to come home.
And how are you doing now compared to even a year ago?
The trauma is still the same. I can't sleep without my medication, so it's extremely hard.
Your life completely changed that day.
Yeah. No parent should ever have to go through what I'm going through, and I would never wish it upon anyone. It's unbearable, and I don't think I'd be able to get through it without the support that I have in my family.
You would think that, but that's what I was expecting to hear. But no, she can't sleep without her meds. She can sleep without her babies, but she can't sleep without her meds. Yeah, that's probably quite accurate, actually. Like when she's talking about that she wants to, or she misses laying in bed with them. She wouldn't have done that since they were babies. I know I often refer to them as babies. It's because of I think of it in terms of the innocence. But as the mother, they're yeah, I don't know. I can see both ways. She does come across as quite self-centered, doesn't she? You know, the priority, she can't sleep without her meds. She can't sleep without her children. Although I think possibly when she goes to bed, maybe she has too much time to think about what actually happened to them. So she knows that she's not sleeping with them, so she needs the meds because of that, if that makes sense.
Tell me what they've been doing for you. Really, how they've come through for you.
We help each other, and we always stand by each other no matter what, and keep each other busy.
When you say that you upon anyone, and we know that I've read the comments myself online, mothers who are judging you as a mother, what do you say to those people?
Hug your children tight, because this could happen to anyone, and
that sounds like a bit of deflection there. This could happen to anyone. Yeah, it is a new interview. It dropped probably about 4 hours ago now, given that we've been on here for 2.5 hours. We'll just keep going.
you just can't point fingers. I feel they don't understand the situation entirely, so they just go off what's being put out there. And I guess they could say all the cruel things that they want. At the end of the day, I know that I'm a good mom and I love.
At the end of the day, I know I'm a good mum. Good one, Malehya. Yeah, I've actually commented on this before. When Belinda she did some audio for me back for Jack's birthday, and she was saying how when Jack was a baby, that Lily was a little bit jealous of him. So when she was there, she'd give Lily the attention. And then we have Janie talking about her being obsessed with baby M. So it does seem to me that it's that whole, the youngest one, the baby one, is the novelty, and the others kind of get pushed aside a little bit. I'm still stuck on this could happen to anyone, given what we know about the situation. I think there's a lot of deflection in that, because this could not happen to everyone. I think there were failures. There were some serious failures for Lily and Jack. And trying to suggest that every parent could fail their children in that way, I can't sit with that at all.
Children very, very much. And I'd give anything to just hold them right now.
Malehya, what would you like the public to know?
Yeah, she's struggling with that. I'd give anything to hold them right now. I mean, obviously, there's definitely some sadness and some guilt and stuff like that. Yeah, Belinda was so positive about her, and she turned around and attacked her. I'm not sure. Now, Belinda never said outright that she'd put Lily on the back burner or anything like that. She just said that that Lily was a little bit jealous when Jack came along. So, in terms of that, we can't be sure. Well, yes. Well, apparently she saw Lily now, which, you know, new part to the story, but hey.
Anything you could say?
I want them to continue keeping my children's faces out there, keep reposting, just help scream their names to help bring them home.
The help bring them home was so much softer than the rest. It's that fading facts. Because she knows that they're not going to be brought home alive. So, again, a lot of it is just talking the talk here, I think. Yeah, that's what Janie said. And I kind of pushed back on that originally until Belinda was talking about Lily being a little bit jealous of Jack. Yeah, she's... If she was a good mother, Lily and Jack would be here. I'm sorry. And I know that she was in a bad relationship, but she let them down. And I know that's harsh, but that's the truth of the matter. Yeah, I know. She wants the public to keep their names out there. Have I missed the part where she said their names? Someone said earlier on that they watched the whole thing and she said their names. Unless they're referring to, I guess, at the beginning when she was saying what they liked. But the rest of the interview, I'm not hearing their names, but she wants everyone to keep their names out there and their faces out there. So if you want to keep their faces out there, how about where's the image that, you know, the poster that you're holding or something? I'm sorry, I'm being a
I
bit.
believe that they're out there somewhere and they will be returned home. I have dreams about them coming home, and I believe it.
Oops. She has dreams about them out there coming home, and she believes it. I dream about it, but I know it's never going to happen. They're not going to come home alive. They're deceased. She knows they're deceased. Yeah, I'll still be doing a Maddie Soto live in about 9 hours' time. So I will be heading to bed very soon. We've just hit 1 a.m. here. But, you know, takes me a while to settle and go to sleep anyway. Wow, there's a lot to unpack with this. I'm definitely going to be sitting down after the Maddie Soto live stream and just going back through this as a video, a pre-recorded video where I really take the time to listen. Ninchi whinging. Common, this is wild. Use your words, clapping seal. I'm kind of not quite there with that. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You need to be more explicit with what you're trying to say. I would imagine that Ninchi is whinging. Ninchi is whinging. That's a mouthful. I am good, cold burn. Thank you. I am going to have to wrap it up because the old girl is, I think she needs to go to bed as well. She needs a soft floor with a carpet. So there's so much more I could be saying about this right now. And yes, that's her guzzling from the water fountain at the moment. It's early or late. It's one or the other, but I realise that I do have a live stream scheduled for 9 hours' time, and I do need to get some sleep sometime between now and then. And also, I think my brain's finally switched off. But boy, have I got so much more to say about this. I will definitely be coming back at this tomorrow as a video. She had photos in her lap on the CBC Nova Scotia one. I haven't watched this one from the beginning. This is the CBC one though. So yeah, I think it's definitely something to watch a few times through to pick up on things, that's for sure. Anyway, I really need to go get some sleep because I know I'm starting to not make a lot of sense in my brain right now. So thank you for coming in, everyone. Please hit the like button on your way out. That always helps. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you're listening on replay, please do leave a comment below. Thanks for coming in, folks. I will catch you in the next one.